Evidence Me, the learning stories platform, and that's it really. Evidence Me is designed to capture learning stories. That's what it was always about. It was always about capturing the experiences of the children in my class. So what I wanted was that Evidence Me puts the child at the centre of the learning process. And by that, I mean, we've got to be masters of assessment, not slaves of it. And we can't be driven, well, we know now, we cannot be driven by assessments as tick sheets and children just as points on different levels. The child has got to be the centre of this process. Now, I don't need to tell you that. But what I'm trying to get across is that Evidence Me creates those stories and capture those moments that us as teachers are proud of, that parents are proud of, and that the children themselves are proud of as well. And those moments can be captured in a number of ways. Next point is that I want to create more time for teachers and practitioners to spend with the children. So we're not doing pointless paperwork. We're not doing pointless tick sheets or going through pages and pages of objectives. We're spending our time doing the things we love, which is spending time with the children, creating and delivering awesome lessons. We want to increase the partnership between parents and school. Evidence Me has got an awesome parents app. It's had it for a while now. If you're not using it, get using it. It's really good. It's a fantastic way of the parents capturing evidence at home and really quickly sending it to school. And then you can choose the bits you feel are appropriate to add to the child's learning story without offending the parent, by the way. Because they kind of won't know that. And you also won't get trapped into kind of ongoing communications with the parents either. It's just a really effective way of sharing information between the pair of you. There's a class app, which is the app that you use in school, which can be used by the teacher, the TA, anyone in the class, or even the children. I've seen children use it under supervision as well. So you've got kind of one class-based app capturing experiences as you go along. And remember, those experiences can be photographs, videos, sound files. You don't have to collect any evidence. An experience could just be some notes, you just kind of dictating some notes of something that you've seen or a memory that you had of what the child did. So you need to kind of get over this idea of capturing observation after observation after observation. We're not into that. What we've always wanted to do was just be a mechanism to collate learning stories that at the end of the year we can give back to the children and give back to the parents to show them what they do well and where they need to improve. The parent app, obviously, which I spoke to you about a little while ago, the learning stories assessment platform, or the web suite. So Evidence Me is split into two bits. You've got an app and you've got a web suite, we call it, or basically it's just a fancy website. Everything that's done on the website can be done in the app. So if you just want to use the app and you want to use that for all your assessment and all your reports, you can do that if you want to. Or if you just want to use the computer, you can just use the computer and not use the app at all if you didn't want to. And many of you may not have realized that. Or if you want to balance between the two just seamlessly exchange data all the time. And we record experiences at school and at home, and this is kind of central to things moving forward. We can no longer say, yeah, we engage with the parents effectively, and that be it, just kind of rhetoric. There's got to be kind of a bridge between the rhetoric of what we say we do and the reality of what actually happens. And using the Evidence Me app can do that. You can capture those experiences at home, and they are sent super quick back to you to look at. And did you know that Evidence Me is a home learning platform as well? Thousands of schools during lockdown actually sent work to home for children to complete and parents to help them with. So many schools kind of started from scratch and used Google Classroom and stuff like that, but thousands of our schools just used Evidence Me as a home learning platform. And if you didn't realize that, send us a message and we'll explain how you can do that. And so if you're paying for other products that do that kind of thing, you don't need to. Evidence Me does it already. And many of you may not have even realized that. By the way, if any of you are To Build a Profile users, did you know that Evidence Me has been, all of your work on To Build a Profile has already been copied over onto Evidence Me? It has been doing for the last 18 months, actually. So if any of you are still on to build a profile, your Evidence Me upgrade is free. Your work will already be there, and it only takes moments to do it. Just contact our support team and they'll help you through that process. So I've entitled this slide An Ongoing Process of Assessment, One Click at a Time. And that kind of picture that you can see above my head is the new screen that we developed. You can't really see it all there. I'm going to show it to you in detail in a minute. And it is awesome. We think it's the most effective assessment screen in the market. And I'll explain to you why that is in a minute. But we know now assessment is really coming under the spotlight, and we've got to be really effective in the way that we deal with assessment in schools. We've got to be the bosses of assessment. We can't let assessment bosses around anymore, and we've got to stop feeling bad about assessment and thinking, crack, we just got to, if I just record everything about every child, then no one's going to shout at me. If we can take control and say, look, all I need to do is identify what my children can do, where they need to improve, and what I'm going to do to make them improve. That's it. End of story. And we can provide an environment for you to do that in a really kind of safe and organized and secure way where everyone's involved. So that can happen in the app or online. You can just use your teacher judgment. So remember, you don't have to use any observations if you don't want to. You can just make a few notes where you think the child is. You can assess by objective if you want, but you might say, I don't want to assess against objectives. I just want to assess against categories or areas of learning, in which case you can. In some cases, you might want to assess against objectives because some objectives might be important to you. They may be the certain key objectives that are stopping the children moving on to that next level, in your opinion. So in some cases, you might want to still assess against the odd objective, but not for everything. It can be evidenced or non-evidenced, either's fine. So as I said before, you don't need to be kind of driven by this culture of capturing loads of pieces of evidence. The parents, teachers and children can all capture information for the learning stories, as I mentioned. It's awesome for progress tracking and target setting. This little screen's got, you can see those purple lines on that screen. I'll explain how that screen is really brilliant for identifying where the children are, where they've been, and where you think they're going to. And there's another kind of box that hovers over the top and explains what the children have got to do to move into the next category. So that kind of satisfies that Julian Grenier question of, just tell me what the children in your care are not doing particularly well and how you're going to improve that. That's what we can give you. We can give you that in moments. And you can assess against development matters, birth to 5 matters, ELGs, any kind of area of learning, or even your own frameworks. Did you know we can enter any framework you like into Evidence Me? So just contact Kevia and the team and they will kind of take you through that process. It's dead easy to do, or we'll even do it for you. We've got hundreds and hundreds of frameworks that we've put in for people, and it's a really kind of, it's a great way of personalizing the product just for you. I often use an example of a particular private school that we worked with in Worcester, and they only had 17 targets, of which one of them was can whittle, the child can whittle. And so we just put those into the system, and those are the only targets that they use. The next one, so just to remind you, Evidence Me already meets all the requirements of both development matters and birth to 5 matters already. So remember that, if whether you're kind of going wholly development matters or wholly birth to 5 matters or a mixture of the two, or a mixture of the two and your own framework, we can help you manage that process. If you just want to capture wow moments, just capture wow moments. It's up to you, it's fine. Choose how many observations you want to take and then stick to that. Then you can make judgments just by ticking in the box in the app, as I'll show you in a minute, or online. You don't have to tag objectives to any observations that you've made. If you just want it to be a picture or a video, it can just be a picture or a video. You don't have to add loads of notes if you don't want to. It could just be something that you like, or something that's funny that you think would be interesting to the parents and to the child at the end of the year when you're creating this thing for them. You can assess against a whole category and area of learning rather than discrete objectives, as I said, in the app and on the website. New features of birth to 5 means that you don't need to assess against emerging, expected and exceeding. So again, sometimes you may want to assess against those three kind of segments of attainment. But other times you might just want to say, yeah, the child can do this, or no, they can't do it. And I'll explain how that is managed in a moment. Parents can already capture observations and send them quickly to school. New features of the website make it dead easy and quick to make those assessments. You could just, it's super easy. I'll show you, just click, it's dead easy. And crucially, you can easily identify what difficulties the children are having and what you are doing about it. So, assessment in detail for the new framework. So I'm conscious that I'm cracking on, but I know you don't want to be here all night, and I know it's a tough time of the year, and this is being recorded, so it will be sent to you to look back in detail later on. So this screen, I am proper excited about this screen. It's a little bit worrying, isn't it, when you get kind of excited about assessment software, but there you go. I'm just passionate about it because I know it helps. And we believe it's the easiest and quickest assessment and progress tracking screen in the industry. And I'll explain why we think that. This screen will be inside the app and on the web suite, by the way. You won't see it just yet, but it will appear over the coming weeks. I'm going to move around the screen starting at 11 o'clock, and then I'm going to kind of move anti-clockwise around it. So if you have taken any observations, they'll appear in that kind of carousel across the top bit there. If you haven't taken any observations, don't worry, you don't have to. So if they're photographs or videos, they'll just be kind of sitting on that timeline. Below that, you can see there's age bands for attainment. So this particular screenshot must be taken from Birth to 5 Matters framework, because as you can see, it's just got the range statements and it's a yes or no. And you can just click in those purple boxes to say where the child was back in the spring, where they're going to be in the autumn, so sorry, where they were in spring, where they are now in the summer, and where they possibly are going to be in the autumn. And the awesome thing is, when you hover over those boxes, can you see that grey box with the green bit of writing in? When you hover over those boxes, that box will pop up showing you what the child's got to do to meet each of those categories. So going back to Julian Grenier, he said, all you got to do is show what the children can do and what they need to do to improve and where their difficulties are. On this one screen, you can show what they could do last term, what they can do now, and identify clearly what it is they need to do next term to get to the point where you want them to be. Dead easy, dead quick. It can be done with observations and evidence above, or just your view. You don't have any evidence if you don't want. If you want to create like an actual story, can you see the bit where it says notes? So at any point through the year, if you just kind of click on the notes section, you can dictate notes in and they'll be date stamped. So you could kind of literally create a learning story for the child, which can be printed out later on as well. So what we like about this screen is that everything about the new style of assessing and record keeping is all done in one place, super quick, and you are the boss of that place. You can go back and change it at any time. You can review any decisions you've made and just crack on. And the last bit is I've put beautiful one-click printouts. You know, some people might not think they're beautiful, but I think they're great. They're dead simple, but really, really effective. And it's just one print button, which I'll show you again in a minute. So again, we're about kind of streamlining the process and making it as quick and easy as possible. Did you know that you can do all of that inside the app as well? Most people don't even realize that inside the app, you can make these assessments. And I just wanted to show you that so that when you've got a spare 5 minutes, you can just have a little play with it. So when you're inside the app, go to on that first screen there where you got a picture of the robot, where it says profiles, click on profiles. And then on the next one, just select the class and the child that you're looking at. And then the next screen, it'll show you, well, depending on which framework you're choosing to assess or review, it will show you whether there's any observations taken for that framework. So I haven't got any observations in mind, because like I said before, it doesn't matter if you haven't got. If you've got some, great. If you haven't got any, no worries. If you just got notes, fine. And then at the bottom, I just click with my finger where they are and where I thought they were last term and where they are going to be next term, and that's it. Boom, done. Not even a minute, just like a few seconds. Dead easy, dead quick, and that can all be done in the app. So the next bit I'm going to do is show you an an actual demo. So, this is where it all usually goes wrong when you switch between programs. So I'm going to switch out of that slideshow there, and I'm going to take you into Evidence Me here. So you can see I've got a copy of Evidence Me up here, my demo version of it, and you can see, just going through what's on the page for you here. One thing you can clearly see is stuff I'm sharing with parents. You can see parent share, parent share, parent share. Stuff the parents have sent to me, parent submission here. If I scroll down to the bottom here, it shows everything I've just kind of been working on. Across here is a kind of customs area for stuff that gets sent in from the parents. That will all get dropped into this area here, and I can review what's been sent in from the parents and choose the ones I want to add to the children's learning stories. So these are literally those magical moments that we're all so proud about. What's wrong with being proud of the stuff we do in class? What's wrong with kind of collecting evidence of the awesome experiences that I spend my weekends planning for, and the children all love doing? And this is the place where all of that information is stored and collected together safely. It's the stuff I've captured, it's the stuff that's come from parents, and the stuff that children have captured, and so on. And so this is the kind of area where all that is stored. What I'm going to do is we're going to kind of follow an observation. So I'm going to take a quick observation now. I'm going to do it on my phone. So just one sec. I'll just have to do a really quick one. So I'm going to do this picture on the wall up here. Right. So I've taken a picture on the wall of that one of my children did. I'm going to add a few notes just to give it some context. I'm going to dictate those notes in as well. Charlie can blend sounds into words. That's all I'm going to say. An awesome thing. Did you know, because I said Charlie, the app has selected Charlie as well. I can't really show you this, but try it. Next time you say your child's name into the app, and it will select the child it thinks you want, because it knows who you are. I'm not going to add any objectives to that, because I could add an objective, couldn't I? Go on, I'm going to add an objective to that. I'm going to do Birth to 5 Matters framework. I'm just going to do one of the areas of learning out of the Birth to 5 Matters framework. So I'm going to do that against writing, and we'll see what happens to that in a minute. Right. So that now will hopefully have left my phone, and I'll just refresh this page here. Here's the moment of truth now. Oh, get in. So can you see that there? So there's the picture I took. That Charlie can blend sounds into words. So you can see that Charlie drew this picture of our dog Ned, and did a bit of writing underneath. There's the dictated notes I did. Remember, you don't have to put any notes in. You don't have to put any objectives in if you don't want to. It could just be the moment. But if you wanted to, then you can add kind of extra stuff here. And the reason why I'm showing you this here is because I just wanted to show you that it could be done in the app, or it could be done online as well. But that's the kind of process that stuff's moving to and fro. What we're going to do now is show you how that works in the assessment area. So what I'm going to do in the assessment area first is create a filter, because you can imagine if you've got like hundreds of children using this and dozens of teachers. Did you know as well, you might not know that Evidence Me goes from foundation stage right to the end of Key Stage 2. So if your Key Stage 1 and 2 teachers aren't using it, tell them to get using it. They don't know what they're missing. Yeah, I mean, they're probably using like other assessment systems as well. You could just get rid of those other assessment systems and save yourselves a fortune, and everybody could just use this. So I'm going to create a quick filter. I only want to see my class, so I just want the owls. These are all those frameworks. Remember I told you about all those frameworks? So this is my demo account. I've got hundreds of frameworks in here. If you've got a framework that you want us to put in, just tell us and we'll put them in. I think we've just done one for New South Wales in Australia the other day. I'm going to do Birth to 5 Matters, because Birth to 5 Matters is a tricky one. Birth to 5 Matters team, did you know, by the way, we were the first company to be accepted by the Birth to 5 Matters team as a great way to manage the assessment for that because we can provide a really easy way of doing it. And that team don't want you to assess against objectives, but they don't mind you making judgments against areas and categories, which I'm going to show you now. So I'm going to apply that there. So there's the children in my class. I click on this here, and here it shows me the areas of learning from the birth to 5 matters and where my children currently sit. So I can see here, if I click on Kyla, there's a piece of really awesome evidence there that came in from a parent. And these are those boxes I was telling you about. I could say, oh, actually Kyla was there back then. And I just click like this to say where they were and where they're going. When that new screen comes online next week or the week after, remember there's going to be an area here where you can put notes. When you hover over these boxes, it will tell you what they've got to do to meet each of those boxes, and then that can inform your planning and so on. If I want to just make a judgment out of thin air and say, actually, I know Jasper is awesome at maths, and I'm not going to give any evidence because I don't want to. I just know he is. So in that case, I reckon Jasper was there in spring 21, and now he's there. I'm going to apply that. And boom, that's it. Easy and as quick as that. No evidence, nothing, if I don't want to. If I want to add some depth to it, and I do feel as though that at that point in the future I want it to be part of this learning story, then great, I could go back and add a picture or whatever. But let's find that objective, that one that I just did for our Charlie. So there's Charlie there. I can see here there's something in writing. So if I click there, there's that picture of Ned that Charlie put brilliant on. I know that I just know that Charlie was our 4 last term, and I know that because I'm a teacher and I speak to him every day, and I've just seen all the work that he does. So I just know, and if someone wants to come and look at his work, they can. But I'm not putting any other evidence than this. And now he's at this point here, and that's it. Simple, easy, quick. If you want to talk about changing these categories across the top or adding extra terms in here, again, drop the Kevia and Bridie and Chris and Laura a note, and they'll explain how to do all that. Just click apply, and you can see now Charlie Briggs now R5. How easy and quick is that? Now, just to finish off this bit, we've nearly finished now, by the way. So just to finish off this bit, I'll just show you the new framework as well. So let's just quickly have a look at development matters. I'm going to do OWL's class objective. We'll just look at reception objectives, just for argument's sake. So again, it's different in my version of development matters because I'm still sticking with emerging, expected, and secure. If I want to make a judgment against a whole category, I like, yeah, no worries. I know Kyla Barton is back in the spring, she was there. In the summer, she was there, and I know now she's there. I haven't got any evidence to show you that, but if you want to come and chat to me about it and why I think that, you're more than welcome. If you want to come and look at her work, great, come and look at her work, because I know, because I'm a teacher and I'm a professional. But the great thing is, there's one thing us all being professional teachers and that information being in our heads. But now it's in a place that I can put it really quickly, and I can share it with all my colleagues as well. So also, if I wanted to assess again, could I ask you all to turn your mics off, please, as well? Could I also mentioned, if you'd like to assess against a specific objective, if you want to, then there's an area down the side here where you can assess against particular objectives if you want to. You don't have to. If you don't want to make a judgment in an objective, you don't have to make a judgment against an objective. But if you feel there's a particular target that a child has done something notable against, and you want to record that, or you want to include that in as a way of filling the gap of in their attainment, then you can do that if you wanted to. So this is that space where you'd make all of those kind of quick and easy judgments. And then back on the home page here. So as I mentioned, Evidence Me is a way of creating those learning stories. We've tried to make it as quick and as simple as possible. You can choose how you use it. You can choose how much evidence you collect. If you want to assess against categories, you can. If you want to assess against other objectives, you can. If you want to put evidence, you can choose to put evidence. If you don't have to. If you want to put notes, you can dictate notes or write notes. It's totally up to you. If you get stuck, click on this button here and it will take you to our specifically written advice page for the new guidance, where Bridie and the team have made some really useful videos. A little video will pop up here. So this is for development matters, this bit here. But if you want to see specifically about birth to 5 matters, there's a dedicated area for birth to 5 matters as well. And if you click on that, it will take you through all of that too. And there's a nice little video there to help you as well. Oh, just before I finish, I just want to show you those how you do those well, the printouts, by the way. That's what they look like when you click on them to print, and you just quickly get those printouts from, you can see that button there. So you just click on that button and that prints out whatever's on that screen. Dead easy, dead quick. If you felt like you wanted to have some record of where they were, if you went to a meeting with somebody or whatever. We're not saying that you need to do that all the time. We're just saying it's there should you ever need to capture that information. There's a whole area for reports as well. If you're interested in the other kind of reports, then give the guys a call and they can take you through all that. And again, going back to that, that's what the videos look like. So I'm going to finish sharing my screen now, and I'm going to hand back to Dawn. But what I would say is, if you've got any kind of doubts or worries or anxieties about just how on earth you're going to cope with all these changes, then we think we can help. So please do get in touch. Even if you think it's a daft question, it doesn't matter. Just get in touch with us, and if we can help, possibly we'll do everything we can to help. And that might just make things a little bit easier for you, hopefully. So thank you all so much for listening. I'm going to turn off my screen now, and we're back in the room with Dawn. Hi, Dawn.
Hello, Jeff. Thank you so much for that. As Jeff said, so we have got a question. I was about to say, if you've got a question, if you want to pop it into the chat, one of Jeff's team will try and respond to that question or tell you. So one of them's asked Jeff, when will all the changes be live? Will they get notified?
Yes, they will. It's going to be any time soon. We were hoping it was this week, but we're just kind of making sure it's all absolutely right before we launch it. But it will be any day now. It will just kind of appear on the screen, but you will get notifications to say it's happened.
And if there's a plan to let you know if a parent comments or adds an observation, for example, a message on the app, same for parents rather than email, so an alert that pops up on the app to say that a parent.
Yeah, well, I think Chris will probably be best answering those kind of questions, because Chris collects together all of the suggestions for features, and he can provide you with a more clear timeline of when that feature is coming along. There are some really awesome features coming along, by the way. We've got a really great feature that for when parents are all stood outside the nursery and you don't know they're there and they're kind of knocking on the door because like the nursery might be the end of school, but we've got some new features where parents can kind of ping the department or ping you on Evidence Me. So if you know Charlie's mum is 2 minutes away, you can get Charlie ready and he can be ready stood by the door. So we've got loads of new little features like that coming along, and Chris on our support team is the person to tell you about that.
So Chris is obviously, there you go, notifications both teachers and currently via email, but we're looking at incorporating apps. And also Louise, Chris, you might have seen in the chat, are you able to speak into app rather than type notes? And they've already got an answer, which is lovely because I think the answers come from another user, which is kind of the support that you want, sort of everybody supporting each other. As I said at the beginning, thank you so much for giving it your time this evening, and we don't want to take any more of your time. You will all be sent a copy of the recording of this and the slideshow that Jeff sent through. So everybody that registered, you'll be sent it so you can use it to look back on with your own establishment and maybe use with other staff.